All right, let's talk about the elephant in the cybersecurity room. And I'm talking about certifications. There's so many certifications out there. Sometimes feel like the alphabet threw up. You've got Security Plus, then SSCP, then CEH, then CISSP, CISM, CRISC, CDIPC, Chicken Nugget Plus. Okay, well, maybe there's no Chicken Nugget Plus, but you get the idea. Cybersecurity certifications feel like an alphabet soup. So here's the $1,000,000 question. Which certification is actually worth your money? And in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be breaking down. What certification is important for you? Just the facts and nothing else. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Femi and we produce videos on growing and thriving in a cybersecurity career. If you're not yet a subscriber, I would ask you to consider subscribing to the channel and also ringing that notification bell so you don't miss any one of our videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning into another of our videos, and now let's dive into it. So when we talk about certifications in cybersecurity, they fall into three broad buckets. So you've got like entry-level certifications. So there'll be certifications like Security Plus, for example, ISC2 certified in cybersecurity. I would say those are sort of the major entry-level certifications. Now, this is by my own judgment. Now, when we talk about intermediate certifications, then we'll get into things like the CEH, for example, or maybe the CISSP Plus, maybe even the CISSP, depending on what angle you're looking at it from. They could be intermediate or maybe not. But then when we talk about advanced certifications, leadership roles, management certifications, then we start talking about certifications like the CISSP, the CISM, maybe CRISC, some really, really heavy hitting certificates out there. So let's be honest. Let's talk about it straight. Just because the certification is labeled advanced doesn't mean you need it yet. And just because something is cheap and fast, maybe free, doesn't mean it will not help you land a job. Or it will help you land a job. It all matters how you use certifications. So what I recommend is take a role-based approach to certifications. So instead of chasing all those acronyms, the alphabet soup behind your name, I've seen people who have, so many certifications behind their names, which is fine. It shows that they're learned, they're doing all the work, they're learning all of these things, but who does it really help? As somebody who is starting in the industry trying to get in, that may not be the best use of your time or your money or your resources. So instead of chasing those acronyms, choose your certification based on the role you want to do. And I'm going to put this, for example, just to get a sense of it. Do you want to be a SOC analyst? Then maybe start with Security Plus, right? Then maybe as you grow into your career, then you can probably do CISA Plus or GCIA, for example. Are you looking to get into GRC or policy or something along those lines? Then maybe look at starting with the Security Plus also, because that's a great entry-level certification. And then maybe gradually work your way into something like CISA or CRISC or CGRC from ISC2. And are you looking at maybe going into IAM or cloud security? So if you're a Microsoft shop, start with the SC900, then maybe the SC300. Or if you're you can go do the Azure Security Engineer as well. If you're in an AWS space, then you can do AWS Security. But if you want one that's vendor agnostic, then maybe do the ISC2's SSCP. That way, and then maybe, and also the CCSP. So that way you can actually start to grow your expertise, your credentials in that space. You're not trying to just do everything all at once. And I got to get into red team, penetration testing, all of that, You can start with the CEH. Now, some find this debatable, CH is a good one, but you can also go for EJPT or PNPT. Those are certifications that are really, really going to test your mettle as you go into that space of red team, blue team, penetration testing. So I'm going to put a chart on the screen so you can see all of these things as well. Let's talk about it. Now that we've looked at those certifications, just a rough overview of those, let's look at some real world return on investment, some ROI. So let's put another matrix here on the screen. I'm going to put another matrix here, and then you can see what it looks like. So for example, we're going to look at the certification. What's the cost of the certification? How difficult or easy is it to get that certification? And what impact does it have? So starting with something like the Security Plus, for example, there's a cost to it. What's the difficulty level? And what's the impact on your career? So there's the Security Plus, which again is an easy place to start. It gives you a solid start to almost every domain in cybersecurity. And it's not too expensive. It's about $400 depending on where you are. Of course, yet to say this, that the prices might vary wherever you might be, depending on the exchange rate. But all of these are quoted in US dollars. This SCP, for example, is a medium difficulty certification. It's great if you're going to go to a SOC. It's probably around $300 for the certification. The price is going to vary depending on where you are. And it's fantastic if you want to go into that space of being a SOC. The CEH is quite a bit of an expensive certification. It's around $1,200. The impact on your career, some people say it has an impact, some people say it doesn't. I'm not in that space. I don't play much in that domain, so I really can't tell what it is or what it is not. And I hear it's a fairly medium level of difficulty as well. And when you get to the really difficult certifications, we get into something like the CISSP, for example, which is a hard exam to pass. It's quite difficult to pass. It's very challenging. A lot of people don't pass it on the first try. But the impact it does, especially if you already have some experience in the industry, is very high. It costs about $800, give or take, to take the exam. But the impact can be phenomenal for your certification, for your career. Same thing, the CISM as well. It's about $760, $800 for the exam if you are not an ISACA member. It's a pretty difficult exam to pass. It's very challenging. Everyone who I know who has taken the exam, myself inclusive, has said this was very challenging for me to take. But the impact is great. It's great if you want to be a manager, if you want to get into managerial positions. Yeah, that's great for your certification. So that's just like some rough matrix of all of them. Of course, I didn't cover all possible certifications in this matrix, but again, you might have to do some further study on your own, so further investigation to see what actually works best for you. Now, coming back to my experience, let's talk about my experience. And I'm going to pick my experience doing my CISSP, for example, which I do have. Had that for quite a few years now. When I did my CISSP, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to brag and say, hey, look, I'm the latest CISSP in town. No, far from it. The reason I took the CISSP was because I wanted to solidify my credibility so that I could show people that not only was I experienced in the field, but actually have been verified and vetted by a competent, reliable third party that actually have the skills and experience required. But I also wanted it to unlock leadership opportunities for me. And guess what? It worked. It did help me open up leadership opportunities. It did help me get the recognition that I needed. But the only reason it worked, and I'm going to preface this to the caveat by saying this is in my situation, the only reason it worked was because I had the experience to back it up. Certificates do not replace skills. They complement skills. So if you have the skill, then a good complement to the skill will be getting the certification. But if you don't have the skills, getting the certification alone does not quite complement you. And it was the same thing when I did my Security Plus back in the day as well. It helped me formalize what I was already doing, gave me a stamp of approval. So that's exactly what certifications do for you. So here's the truth. Certifications do not get you hired. That's not what's going to get you hired. What they do is they get you noticed. So for example, you think of all those job descriptions you see where they say, oh, CISSP required, or SS Security Plus required, or preferred. It simply means that if somebody's going to shortlist somebody for those roles, because you have those certifications, it makes you a better candidate for considering for the next round. It doesn't mean you're going to get the job. It just gets you noticed. So the real magic happens when you take those certifications that you have, combine it with hands-on experience, and network like your career depends on it, because the truth is, it actually does. So network like your career depends on it after you've got the certification, and then keep learning even after you pass the exam. So what's the right certification for you? The right certification is the one that helps you match your goals. So how do you know the right certification? First, start with what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? What do you hope to be? Once you find out what your path is, do you want to go into penetration testing or GRC, policy or identity or software development? Whatever it is, once you decide what your goal is, then find yourself, what is the certification that matches my path? Is it the CEH or the Security Plus or the SSCP or the CCSP? Whatever it is. And then do that. And then don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for the hype. Oh, if you take this certification, it's going to guarantee you a job. That's all hype with no substance. Fall for what makes sense for your own journey. So now I'm going to pass the ball to you. What certificate helped you the most, or which one are you eyeing right now? Just drop a comment below, because I do love reading those comments, and I would always respond to those comments when I see them. Hey, if this video helped you make some clarity around your certifications, subscribe. That would really, really help the channel to grow as we continue to provide more content for you on YouTube. New videos every week to help you build a bold and balanced cybersecurity career. And of course, we've got the Cybersecurity Migrant podcast as well. So check that out also. I'll put a link down in the comments below. You can see some of the conversations we've had with experts in this industry who are thriving, particularly as immigrants. If you made it this far and you're wondering what to watch next, check out this video comparing a couple of entry-level certifications. Or you can check out this one where I compared the CISSP to the CISM. And I will catch you in the next one. This is Femi, signing out.